Yo,
The
let me
boogie
just
nights,
remind
man. But go
everybody to
ahead.
please jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, go ahead and lead hook that share button and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content.
What do you
Huh?
think is the plus? What do you think is the plus about
About
this
the about
man?
the about with the
Uh, uh,
lawsuit?
about the lawsuit. What
Okay.
is the positive you feel like could come out of a lawsuit if he
Okay.
sues and is effective? If he effectively wins for the batter, because everything else I'm cool with. I'm cool with you suing De La Hoya because he. I don't know what happened with that. I don't
Right.
know if you're crying because you feel like he owes you money that you don't got, that he don't owe you, or if he really did do you dirty. Because De La Hoya looked fishy.
Right. Um,
He looked fishnet fishy.
I feel like one of the positive, and I can't say I don't want to say positive. I'm gonna say potential positive because you said it doesn't benefit the sport, that it could potentially hurt the sport. And you mentioned
Yeah.
things like low blows and headbutts and rabbit punches. That's being a part of the sport, and that is true. But performance enhancing drugs is not a part of the sport. It is a part of the sport in the sense of people do them, but it's not a part of the sport. It shouldn't be a part of the sport, and it's the one thing that I think if you put it on the scale or you were to list things that people want to eliminate from the sport, that will probably be at the top of the list. So I feel like a lawsuit, depending on how severe of the penalty, meaning how much bread Ryan Garcia may have to kick back for doing what he did. And again, I don't know what the strength of this case. I don't know if he's going to win anything. If he wins nothing, then it probably does nothing, right? But let's just say, for argument's sake, let's just say he had to give up his whole purse. Let's just say the judge says, "How much you made for that fight? 50 million." You giving him your whole purse. I think it could potentially make people think twice about using performance enhancing drugs due to the stiffer penalties because getting fined or getting suspended, okay, so I can't train for a year, so I ain't got to beat myself up for a whole year, you know what I'm saying, to get back in the ring. Okay, you fine me what 10% of my purse, all right, cool. It's not really a deterrent for people to not do it, and it may not even do anything on the lower levels of the sport, but let's say like you when you up there, when you making that kind of money and now potentially getting caught using performance enhancing drugs, but no excuse because it can happen where you took a tainted supplement or what have you. I'm talking about people who and it's been proven that you took it intentionally and you get hit for your whole purse. I just made 30 million on this fight, and now you got to give up that whole purse. I'm just saying, but if that was to be the case, I think it can drastically cut potentially it could drastically cut the amount of people getting caught for using it. So either you're gonna get either they're gonna get smarter about how they cycle on and off this stuff, or they're gonna have to stop it altogether. But that's just my opinion. But I don't know. But that's just something I think potentially could happen.
I would say that you're basing that off of logic that is, I don't want to say emotionally, but it's a feeling. It's how you feel, right? It's something
Right.
that you feel, and so you base that off of how it should be, right? And logically, that makes sense. What you just said, stiffer penalties would make somebody who's rationally, logically thinking, "Yo, I shouldn't do something." However, the problem I think when you start to look at it from that particular standpoint is you're not realizing the actual mentality of a cheater and the person who goes in there. None of them go in there even thinking that they're going to get caught. And the ones that do is just willing to take that risk. You know what
Right.
I mean? Because winning is that important. And I don't think that the penalties will ever outweigh what they feel is the reward and risking it. And in the mind, and when you're looking into the mind and mentality of a cheater in any aspect of life, or a cutthroat or somebody, and I've swam amongst them. I've been amongst the cheaters and the cutthroats. You know what I'm saying? And when you realize that it's a different mentality, the risk when you can up the risk as much as you want, the reward is always greater in their minds. And this is why these great risks are taken for these rewards that Sometimes it seems like it's worth it, sometimes it's not. And this is and I don't believe that in that aspect is going to help. I think that, like I said earlier, is going to hurt. And the reason why I think it's going to hurt, because like you did make a great point. All Although I'm gonna say they're all a part of boxing, although none of them should be. But performance enhancing drugs is another animal. That's another ballpark. One is little leagues, the other one is outright major league based. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna act like it's the same. I'm not gonna act like it's the same. But you have to understand that this opens up a floodgate, because we're talking about something completely unprecedented. That now there's so many people who are going to go look back. There's so many Kermit Citrones who sitting home right now who they broke, yo. They in the boxing gym right now, telling some upcoming fighter about their glory that they had. You know what I mean? While they training them right now, but they don't have the glory they felt like they should have had. And it's gonna open up floodgates to say, you know what, Margarita did cheat me, yo, and I deserve money from the promoter, because the promoter didn't make sure I was safe. And then so many people now become exposed to this type of precedents you would be setting. Like, this would be dangerous. In my personal opinion, it's beyond just whether it's some sucker shit. I think, honestly, there's way more. If I'm gonna break down probabilities, because I don't know, I'm just looking at probabilities. There's way more probabilities that it hurts the sport, and it hurts the future of how the sport is actually done, as opposed to it creates a stronger regulation that becomes effective.
I mean, I hear you on that point. I guess it's a fair point, but I'm still gonna say, nah, get out of here with that. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yo.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called